This is the Milo Sweet podcast where you learn to be resourceful, find quick and clever ways to overcome life's challenges. And guess what? Achieve more with less. Use what you have to get where you're trying to go. Learn to do difficult. And for excuses, get rid of them. I mean, all of them. They're dead to me. Let's go. Hey, before we get started, I need your help. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, review, and share. You really like the show? Want to put your money where your mouth is? Click donate. I would love your support. Hey, single people. For all you guys out there, and I guess some of you guys married as well, you want to know about Tinder. Okay, so I just saw an article yesterday about, what was the article about? Oh, how Tinder can help you find Mr. Right. And I thought, really? So I'm still going to always be on the really no, I don't think so fence, but for the sake of curiosity, and because I'm someone who randomly gets curious about random things, I thought, I wonder if I'm missing something. By missing, I mean missing if it really works. So I'm not a fan of dating apps. I understand a lot of people say they met their husband, blah, 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 blah. I'm just someone who likes to be out in the open with people. And I'm going to give you my reasons why so you can understand the context in which I'm going to do this episode. I hate when people don't tell like their intent. So for me, first off, I've been married for quite a while, like over 10 years. I don't really know the exact amount, but for some time. Okay. With that being said, I didn't meet my husband on an app, and so that is my point of view. I don't think apps are bad, but I also feel like some of the skills that you need to make a relationship work, an app may negate. When you meet someone in person, you're going to have to still develop certain skills, and also the view in which you see them online can skew how you interpret their interactions. It's almost like they say, you fool me once, it's on you. You fool me twice, it's on me. So basically what I'm saying is, like, sometimes you don't know if you're getting fooled because everything is laid out so immaculate online, or just the persona, that it might be hard to understand what's going on. And the other part is the reason why you might be using a service is different than why someone else is using a service. So have you ever bought something in your house and the way you want to use it and the way someone else would use it is totally different? Like, you think a razor is for you to use your own personal body and your use, and maybe the person who also shares a shower with you think it's for them. That's a totally different use. Same razor, different use, different thought process. And if you think it's single person, single use, you're going to be pretty upset if you go back for a double use. You're going to break your rule and find out someone else's hair is in that razor. I'm just stating what could happen. So if someone's using Tinder for like a one-nighter and someone else is using it for like long-term, I'm going to find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, whatever. I don't even know how you say it. Then I think it could be a huge debacle. The other part to this is people's way of life for dating. So it's really easy to swipe. But in real life, there's so many mechanisms that you really have to think about that I feel like it could be a time waster. Now, I've seen things work out. What I mean is, can you get married off of an app? Sure. Can you stay married? I don't know. I didn't look that up. So I would have to say that. But, people who get married the traditional way, can they stay married? So I think the question is, can we just stay married? That's a different conversation for a different podcast. But the point that I'm trying to make is that article right? Can you find Mr. Right on Tinder? So then I found an article by a girl on the Business Insider. Let me see if I can pull her up really quick. And she was talking about how she found, I met my husband on Tinder. Here's what everyone gets wrong about dating online. And she says, my husband and I met on the popular dating app Tinder. Many people have misconceptions about online dating, from it being for the socially inept to there being an extreme stigma around it. Despite the challenges it can present, online dating can be a really rewarding experience that can end in long-term commitment. Keyword can to end. So it cannot as well. That's number one. So she goes into her story about how they met and how they talked, and when she met him on Tinder, and then he went straight to the chase of, having a date. She's saying 50% of Americans are using it, and she just gives a lot of tips on it. So it worked out for her. That's great. Now, is that the story for everyone? So then I looked up, because I was like, maybe women are going on there to date, like for their partners, and are men going on there? And the first thing that came up when I said men finding partners on Tinder, or men finding a wife on Tinder, or a man looking for Mrs. Right on Tinder, or for a long-term relationship. Guess what came up? How to find, so could be ads search. So it's interesting that they came up. I know that it's just not organically coming up. There are people that pay for their ads to come up. Their site to come up. There are people that do SEO, keyword search, which basically means that they're trying to make sure that you actually find their website. So it's basically like how to Tinder for married. I had no idea that married people were on Tinder, to be honest. Everything you need to know to be sneaky. Tinder is home to millions of users, including the married. Hunting for a casual date or one-night stand. This article shall navigate this uncharted waters of Tinder for married and answer the following things. Should married people be on Tinder? Really? Are you helping them or hurting them? But then it talks about your alternative as Ashley Madison and the benefits of Tinder, and you can even get a Tinder coach and increase your response. Then I looked up a different way. I was like, okay, well, maybe I searched the wrong thing. You know how you can search the wrong thing. Do guys use Tinder to find a wife? And then I get a lot of comment sites like Reddit, or is it Quora? Or Quora? Basically where people are saying why can't they find, guys are saying, why can't they meet a woman on Tinder? So I mean, they have 24 answers, 541 votes, 44 votes. So it looks like it's not like a viral thing, but it is a recurring question. Different people have posted it. And then the next thing is, what happens when a married woman goes on Tinder? After that, on The Guardian, it says 42% of people using dating app Tinder already have already have a partner, or they're married. So that was news to me. That's not the rabbit hole that I was finding. I thought I was just going to prove that maybe that either Tinder is changing. That's what I thought I was going to find out, because I've heard people's stories that I know that have been on Tinder, and it's just been a disappointment. But then I thought maybe it's either changing, or 2020's changed it, or maybe it's just the way you use Tinder. And I think, how you use something does matter. But to think 42% are married or have a partner, that's a huge amount. I didn't think about that. I personally think, whether you use the app or not, that if you actually want to find a partner, or a partner to find you, I think an app can increase your visibility. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I would ever use it. That's just me. I don't know, I'm just wired differently. So I'm just not a fan of that. In general, when I say probably won't use it, I just mean I don't know what future is going to hold for me. Let me re-say this. I just mean if I was in someone else's shoes, and I have seen quite a bit of people get divorced, so it was just from that perspective, that is not something I desire or want for my life at all. But I just want to say that because I've heard people say, I'm never da-da-da, and then sometimes you fall into that position where that is actually what's happening in your life. So I think every day you have to work to keep your marriage together. So I want to be realistic, to be able to say, that it requires work. And if you stop working at it, well, you shouldn't be surprised if it doesn't work. It's that simple. So with that being said, would that be something that I would use? No. Do I think that is actually an effective way to date? My honest, true, homegirl is a no. Should you feel judged if you use it? I don't think so. I think it's whatever works for you. If it's working for you, then you'll have results you want to see. But what I do usually hear is that people use it. They can't stop using it. They are bored. They use it because they're lonely. And they don't really find what they're looking for. So to me, that would be a problem. That it's addictive. You use it when you don't feel so good. And I don't really want to find someone that way. I wouldn't advocate for that. I guess you do eat when you're hungry, but I don't know. So I don't really think loneliness should be, I think it's ideal to solve loneliness, but there can be times where you have a relationship and you're not gonna be like, you're still an individual. So there are gonna be some lonely times, and that's just how it is. So I think it's like, I guess maybe I would want to describe the loneliness. Okay. So what do you think? Have you used Tinder and it's worked out? Are you married using Tinder? Shame on you. Shame on you. I think that's not okay. I mean, I guess unless you have like a partner deal, I actually still don't think that's okay. I think it's kind of misleading because I feel like maybe there should be like a site. Well, I guess there is a site. It's called the Ashley Stewart site, or is that the clothing line? I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, I just think that if I was on Tinder dating and I was assuming that I would meet someone, I wouldn't want half of the people, almost 1 out of 2, to be married or with a partner. That to me would be not worth my time. That 50% of my swipes could be married. And I don't even know the probability of that. Like, okay, so I don't want to get into that because I'm like, that'll be a rabbit hole you might find really daunting and boring. But it just seems like a waste of time in that sense. And I'm not advocating for for married people to go on Tinder, but I definitely do feel like if I was single, I wouldn't want to be part of that pool of, if I'm looking for Mr. Right or you're looking for Mrs. Right, like I wouldn't want that to be part of the pool because that can be a little deceitful too. And I also feel like I don't really want to be involved in that. Like, I just feel like that's kind of messy. That's not what I'm going on Tinder for. I just said I was lonely, not for drama, for companionship. So, okay. Do you have a Tinder story? I want to hear it. I definitely, I don't know. I guess I feel like I would want people to have true companionship. And I just don't know. I think part of it is going to be really understanding where you're at and what you're using the app for if you really want to end up where you want to end up. I guess that's what I would say. And I don't know if the nature of the app and the nature of dating and companionship really makes that easy through the app. That's probably the better way I could say it than what I've said earlier. It's just, I just wonder that. And I haven't seen it. And the people that I've seen got married from online, they've also gotten divorced. So that doesn't mean that that's what'll happen. I'm not saying that, but I definitely think that that's my experience. So I can't, I would have to get more information. Okay, that's all. I just thought this was interesting. I also wanted to do a podcast of dating during COVID. Some people are getting their date on, and I just thought it was interesting. Okay, and I want to share it. All right, that's all. All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening to. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.